Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News Midday.
Welcome back. St. Vincent de Paul has offered one of their affordable housing sites to temporarily shelter homeless youth.
But so far, Lane County is turning that offer down, focusing on homeless adults and those with pre-existing health conditions. Youth Era founder and CEO Martin Rafferty is standing by live to weigh in. If you didn't know, Youth Era is a local youth suicide prevention organization. But first, without taking their offer from St. Vinny's, advocates say the only option that homeless youth have is Looking Glass Station 7, which is on 7th Avenue. But even there, they can only accommodate 8 youth at a time. Local pastor Adam Brittle says now more than ever, these unhoused youth need to be taken into consideration.
And here we are in the midst of a public health crisis. And the county has moved heaven and earth to do really good work at the fairgrounds for our adult homeless population. But again, the resources for youth are completely absent from the response. And it's just potentially really tragic.
He says he hopes Lane County reconsiders the offer from St. Vinny's. And now let's bring in Martin to the conversation now. And your organization has direct contact with homeless youth in Lane County. So what was your reaction to Lane County's officials saying no to an emergency homeless youth shelter down by St. Vinny's?
Well, before the crisis, Looking Glass in Station 7 is, they're one organization. In other communities of our sizes, they have a lot of other options, a lot of organizations providing services, and that's a better model than just having one. So really excited about, I have a feeling, look, the county officials around this, they are moving very quickly. No one expected the impacts of this virus and what we were going to have to do. And so I know that normally I'm the guy who would be right there and saying, like, this is unacceptable. We have to move faster. We have to move stronger. But what they're trying to look at is how can we do this safely? When we don't do that, you have situations like the cruise ship, right, where more damage is done than not. And I actually was a youth participant in Station 7 as a young person before I was adopted, right? And so don't take my attitude towards this as being nonchalant. I know that this is a major crisis and we have to focus on it. However, the county officials working behind the scenes, they are working nights. They're doing everything they can to make it safe. And if we can't make it safe, we have to go slow. And I know that sounds safer than being on the streets. Unfortunately, with a risk, a new threat that we haven't seen before, the answer might be yes.
That's very interesting. Martin, we've been checking in with you weekly since this pandemic started. As the stay-at-home order continues in Oregon, as we all continue to social distance, what is your organization seeing this week?
We are, I just want to let people know that our organization is mostly focused on empowering youth. So we don't have a focus on working with low-income families or homeless and runaway youth. And so the families that are coming to us for services right now, they're middle-class families. They are people who last month, they were doing well financially. And this month, they're showing up at our doors to get help with food. And this is the beginning. This is just the start. Even if services and the lockdown stop tomorrow, the economic consequences of what's already happened is going to be devastating. And so what we're seeing on the ground is a lot of need, and I'm humbled by the response from local government, from community programs, from my staff. Everyone, there's a lot of pain out there, and then there's a lot of good, a lot of people standing up and saying, as a community, we're going to come together and do everything we can. But hunger is happening now. It's not some threat from far away. There are families right now in Lane County that were absolutely financially set last month, and they don't have enough food right now.
And Martin, you have 3 tips for people at home right now to help mentally weather this crisis. And the first you say is to treat rumors like hazardous materials. And what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, so, we, Youth Era is based here in Eugene, but we run a national mental health organization for youth. And so we always work to get resources out. And right now, what we're seeing nationally, as well as here at home, is that there's a kind of, I think adults, family members, teachers are forgetting to think about the psychology around corona and young people. And so something that's adding anxiety unnecessarily is that we're listening to these rumors that are going around. Some of them are really out there, and young people will just assume that they're accurate. And so I want to encourage parents to sit down and talk with your youth about what are the known unknowns, because there are known unknowns about the virus and about what's going to happen, but also talk about what's real, like keeping it in perspective and being very serious about not accepting, any kind of conspiracy theories or these rumors actually cause a lot of damage to young people.
And Martin, you also suggest that we map out a routine, and your third point is to connect in and connect out. What do you mean by these two tips?
Yeah, so it's a new time. We need to find a way to stop living in 2019, and this is 2020 now. It's a new time to recreate and remap everything. And so we're encouraging families to actually create a schedule. It's a social isolation schedule, but what kind of routines can we have young people looking forward to as they're going throughout the day? And that could, we're 5 o'clock, we're talking with grandmother on Facebook video. At 7 o'clock, we're having, family dinner, but really writing it out and setting it up as a schedule that's consistent. We find that young people really respond to that. And then with the other two tips, I really encourage something that's really worked well for my staff and for some of our young people. There are meditation apps, decluttering all of the chaos up there. It's a great time to pick up a skill like meditation. There are lots of free apps that people can access. And lastly, making sure that we're really focusing on reaching out socially and encouraging your young people, your kids, to reach out to family members, maybe folks that they've lost contact with. That human interaction is crucial.
All right, Martin Rafferty with Youth Era, thank you for joining us again. We'll check in back with you next week.
Thank you.